2 years old. Cayetano dragged Miguel into a field where he brutally assaulted him and then callously threw him.
Holy shit, 11-year-old, and now it's just getting younger. The 9-year-old serial killer. This better be some other country. I'm not like, this is not normal, or was it normal back then?
World history at just 9 years old, with 4 victims and 7 more attempted murder cases to his name. How did this tiny boy pull it off? It began when he lit buildings on fire because, according to him, it's nice to see firemen fall into the fire. Authorities even caught him mistreating a body much younger than him, but just sent him home. The unpunished crime ignited a 7-year murder spree. This is the case of Cayetano Gordino.
Is he still in jail? Please let me know. And where he's
Cayetano Santos Gordino's story.
Knew it. This is not normal, bro. 11? I mean, 9-year-old? What? I mean, did it start at 9 or ended at 9? Let me know. Because he would have been even younger if his... What?
It begins in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He was born into a large family, one of 8 children. His parents, Fiore Gordino and Lucia Ruffo, were Italian immigrants. They came to Argentina seeking a better life. Cayetano's father soon succumbed to alcoholism and became known for his violent temper and iron fists. Lucia, Cayetano's mother, also lived in fear of her husband and could not protect herself or her children from harm.
Damn.
In this environment, young Cayetano grew up witnessing and experiencing violence firsthand. Cayetano also suffered from significant health issues. His father had contracted syphilis before Cayetano was born, which led to serious health issues during his childhood. Later in his life, a doctor's examination would reveal 27 scars on his head alone. He claimed that each of these scars was a result of beating from his alcoholic brother and father. From a young age, Cayetano began to exhibit deeply concerning behavior. He found pleasure in killing small animals, and he was mesmerized by the destructive beauty of fire. His fascination with violence and general disinterest in education led him to move from school to school. Despite all the schools he went to, he was never taught how to read. Cayetano was also severely bullied. His big ears, small stature, combined with his odd proportions, as well as his inability to read and write, made him a target among his peers. The bullying and exclusion from other children his age was constant, adding to his sense of isolation and encouraging him to spend much more time with younger children. And since most grown-ups overlooked him, he had no problem gaining the trust of little ones with the promise of play or candy in the future. In 1904, at just 8 years old, he committed his first known assault. Miguel de Paoli, a toddler who wasn't yet 2 years old. Cayetano dragged Miguel into a field where he brutally assaulted him and then callously threw him into a patch of bushes. A policeman passing by witnessed the shocking scene and intervened. He took both children to the police station, where their anxious mothers later picked them up. There was no follow-up. The following year, Cayetano attempted to kill an 18-month girl named Anna.
No, wait. What the fuck were they doing back then? No, let me know. Was there any police money? What the fuck is the police doing? Niggas saw this happen and said, oh, they're just playing. Wait, what? Is this during the cowboy years? Yo, Baker,
by throwing stones at her.
Baker, what are you doing after this?
A police officer also witnessed this incident and took Cayetano and Anna to the police station. Due to his young age, Cayetano was again released. In 1906, at just 9 years old, Cayetano committed his first murder. Gordino tried to choke Maria Rosa, but...
Wait, what do you mean? What happened to your thing? Yo, how many people shit... Is all of America, nigga, like, shit down? I know another way, what the fuck happened with your Wi-Fi? Something else happened with somebody else.
Found that he was too physically weak to end her life on his own. When she didn't die, he did something unspeakable. He buried her alive, hiding her body under some canvas.
Oh, wait, how old is
Although her parents filed a missing persons report, authorities had no idea about Maria Rosa's fate until Cayetano's later confession. The police did attempt to retrieve her body once they learned of the murder, but found that a 2-story home had been built over her bones the years since her death. At the time, there was a law banning people from pleasuring themselves in the privacy of their own homes. As invasive as that was, Cayetano's parents used this law as an excuse to get the police to take him off their hands for a few months, claiming that they caught him in the act. He returned home from the facility he was being kept in, and seemed to lay low for the next few years. But on September 9th, 1908, he went back to his pattern of violence. Cayetano convinced Severino Gonzalez, age 2, to go with...
There's no convince. He's 2 years old. Nigga, there's no convince. He forcefully... That nigga is a demon, bro. What do you mean forcefully... Whoever made that, I forgot. I actually forgot the guy who made this video, but he didn't convince shit. Nigga, he's 2. There's no way you convince it. You can literally just pick him up. Nah, he's weird. Yo, Cayetano, I'm coming for you. All right, is he still alive?
Him with the promise of candy and treats.
He should be alive, right?
He lured the 2-year-old into an abandoned warehouse, where he proceeded to drown the little boy in a horse trough.
Yo.
The owner of the building happened to be nearby, and he heard a struggle. He found the 2 boys, both wet, with the little one half dead in the large trough. But Cayetano talked his way out of it by claiming a mysterious woman in black had been there. According to Cayetano's story, he had gotten there in the nick of time, scared off the violent woman, and saved the toddler from certain death. The police were called, and he gave them the same story. They seemed to believe him, and they let him go.
Wait, they believe that? Wait, I forgot this is the 1990, like, this is not even the 20s or 10s. What the fuck do you call this? The 19s? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. This is the 1st century. This is like when the world was basically, no, hell no. And I'm not gonna lie, now I'm starting to, they believed anything, right? This nigga said it was a witch, and they probably believed that. I ain't gonna lie, like, and he was 9. This nigga was smarter than 9. I mean, this place.
Then,
believed what?
6 days later, he burned the eyelids off a 22-month-old with a cigarette. The screams of the child brought his mother running, but Cayetano took off and was gone by the time the mother reached the child. He was never officially caught, but rumors began to spread about his involvement with the random acts of violence toward toddlers in the area. At this point, his parents had had enough. They didn't believe his stories about the mysterious woman in black going around terrorizing small children, and they had previously found a small box underneath Cayetano's bed full of dead family pets. So they brought him to the police station and begged them to help. The authorities sent him to the colony of Smaller Peace, where he endured brutal physical punishment and had to go through hard labor for 3 years. He came home just in time for Christmas on December 23rd, 1911. He had just turned 15.
Okay.
Although his father had found him a job, in less than 3 months he had lost it and was trolling the streets again. Because of his excellent knowledge of the city, he knew all the locations of deserted land and buildings. So he knew where to take all of his victims before he even got his hands on them. He began drinking, and with drinking came extreme headaches, with an urge for violence. On January 17, 1912, Gordino set a warehouse on Corrientes Street ablaze. It was when he was being questioned about this crime that Gordino said his infamous quote, "I like to see firemen working.
Yo.
It's nice to see how they fall."
Actually, that's not gonna, okay, that is still crazy, bro. Nigga, what? Nigga has a first class, I don't know, is there a first class movie ticket? Nigga, that's basically what he's trying to say here. Yo, he's a demon, bro. What the fuck? I mean, look, if you think about it, I like to see, yo, nah, this guy
into the fire. But Gordino's crime spree didn't stop with arson. Less than a week later, the body of a 13-year-old boy named Arturo Larora was found dead in an empty house. He was beaten, half naked, and with a cord tied around his neck. The police had no clue what kind of monster could have done something like that. The case went cold until Gordino later confessed to the crime. He claimed to have taken Arturo to an empty house and covered his mouth with a handkerchief after tying him up. He proceeded to whip him with a branch from a fig tree. When he grew tired of that, he strangled him and left. March 7th of the same year, Raina Vanikov, 5 years old, was admiring shoes in a store.
No, I'm not liking this adding at. You just said he confessed. Why is he not in, like, why is he not, they hang niggas back then. Why is this nigga not hanging off? No, yes, yet again, you just see what he's nigga doing, bro. Why is he not doing the hanging trend, bro? Like, why is the guy not doing the hanging trend forcefully? Well, he's getting forced to do it. I'm not gonna lie, this better have been before he told.
Her front window,
yo, what type
when she began to scream. Someone had set her dress on fire. A policeman nearby threw the little girl to the ground and tried to kill the fire with his own body, but she was already severely burned. Reina was rushed to the hospital, where she died 16 days later. Allegedly, Cayetano was there in the crowd, watching everything unfold. 8 months later, he tried to claim another victim, a 2-year-old named Russo Roberts. Using his typical method of luring away toddlers, he took him to a warehouse and tied his feet together with a rope, which he used as a belt for his trousers. Before he could end Robert's life, a farmer nearby noticed what was going on and interrupted. The police were called, and since they had no concrete evidence, they had to let him go. But the police were keeping an eye on him now. They grew very suspicious of being called to crime scenes,
did they respect people
and
back
his
then?
explanations about how he was there
Was it proven
at
innocent
that
or guilty?
exact moment when the kids
I
in
thought they were,
question
more
needed his
harsh,
help.
harsh.
Because of each child's age, they couldn't get the real story. All they could do was watch and wait for him to slip up. On the morning of December 3rd, 1912, Mrs. Maria Giordano, a neighbor of the Gordinos, told her son that he could go outside and play. She needed to do some chores. So she reached for the red ball lying next to the front door and told him that if he would stay on the path, he could play outdoors. This was the last time she would see her son alive. Her son was named Gesualdo, and he was just 3 years old. Cayetano had spent his morning being yelled at by his father. As he plunged out the door into the cloudy day, he saw 3-year-old Gesualdo playing ball with the other kids around the neighborhood. And he knew what he wanted to do. He blended in with the other kids on the block and lured little Gesualdo to come with him. They left, hand in hand, and eventually stopped at the general store for the promised sweets. According to Cayetano, he gave the boy a little piece of candy with the promise of more to eat later, and led him to an empty construction site. As they approached the entrance, the little boy was frightened and began to put up a struggle. But Cayetano was stronger, so he picked up the small boy, carried him through the doorway, and plopped him next to the furnace. To keep the child in place, he put his knees across the child's chest while reaching for some discarded rope that the workers in the building had tossed to the side. He wrapped the rope around Gesualdo's throat 13 times before attempting to strangle him.
So
The child fought for his life and tried to stand up. So Cayetano quickly tied the child's hands and feet. But he grew tired from the effort and left the building to look around for weapons. As he looked around, someone called out to him. It was Mr. Giordano, his young victim's father, looking for his missing child. Cayetano quickly tried to lie and get Mr. Giordano to leave the area, claiming that he had not seen young Gesualdo, but that the police should be contacted. So Giordano left, and Cayetano grabbed a brick and nail and headed
That's
to
crazy.
finish
This
what
nigga encountered the parent and he still went ahead and finished the job. Like, this nigga had a mission to do. Like, this nigga was on missions, bro. This is basically his nah.
he had started. He lifted the brick as a hammer and drove the nail directly through the forehead of the dying boy. He looked at his handiwork for just a moment and covered his final victim with a piece of tin before running home. When Mr. Giordano called the police, there was a witness this time to help him, and the police tied Cayetano to crime. When Cayetano and Gesualdo had gone to the convenience store to buy candy, a woman working the cash register in the store took notice. When she later described the features of the strange boy with big ears and oddly long arms, walking around with little Gesualdo, Mr. Giordano immediately knew where his son was. He led police back to the building where he had spoken earlier with Cayetano. Mr. Giordano was the first to find the body of his son. The women of the community laid out Gesualdo's little body on a table in one of the rooms of his house. Many neighbors, friends, and loved ones came to pay their respects and to wait with the mourning parents. The police set up outposts around the victim's house.
I can barely hear you. Say straight. I was gonna say something about this. Yo, does this nigga get hanged? Because they hang people back then, right? Did they eventually get hanged or not?
And went inside to see his
victim
again.
Killed like 4 kids.
According to Cayetano's confession, he went up to where they had laid the child. Then he went closer and, with his hand, pulled the face to see whether they had left the nail in his victim's head. He became very upset to see everything that he had done. They also found a newspaper article in his
didn't play no
pocket.
game.
He had before and cut the article out so he could look at it whenever he wanted. His sister also told the police about the blood she had found
Just
on his
hand the
clothes
evidence to the cops. I know, but like,
when he arrived home
get
after
clips
the
and shit.
murder. He was ultimately charged with 3 murders and 11 assaults. The public wanted blood. So many asked for him to receive the death penalty. But because Cayetano Gordino was only 15 at the time, he was sent to a mental hospital for the next
there was
2
mental
years.
hospitals back then.
While in this hospital, he assaulted and injured 2 patients.
What?
One in a wheelchair and another confined to his bed. He then made so many attempts to escape that the court found him competent to serve jail time. And
What
he was sent
TS video is this? This is history, bro. You need to learn. Yo, Tyron, I know you don't be reading your books and shit. I ain't gonna lie, like, we do a lot of school shit here, man. Look. 9-year-old serial killer. This is back in the day, in the 1900s and shit. This is some history shit, you know, some not cool, but some little history for you, know, some shit.
the National Penitentiary in Ushuaia. For the next 20 years, Cayetano Gordino was never remorseful. He was a loner, prone to anger and violence.
The fuck?
And his history of abusing children
that?
resulted in him being continuously assaulted by the other inmates. He never received any visitors or letters from his family.
Damn.
In 1933, he strangled a cat that was the prison mascot. The other inmates were so outraged that they brutally assaulted him, sending him to the hospital for over 2 weeks. In
Why didn't they
1936,
just finish
he
it?
requested his freedom
I mean,
and was
no.
denied.
Fuck it,
He
I'll
was
pause it.
found
Fuck,
dead in
finish
his
it.
cell on November 15th, 1944.
By somebody?
The official cause of death was reported as internal bleeding caused by a gastritis outbreak. But some wondered if he had actually been attacked and bled out slowly from the inside. Either
Yeah.
way, he was buried in the prison cemetery.
Damn.
The prison itself closed down
To
in
be honest, it's low-key sad because like the way he grew up, like he was like, I don't know, bro. He said he got hit a lot in the head. He probably has CTE, but like the bad way.
1947. As they dug up the graves of all the dead inmates, they found the bones of Cayetano
See,
missing.
that's crazy, bro.
It was later
TS.
rumored that someone had made a paperweight with one of his bones inside it and had given the odd gift to the last director of the prison. The prison is now a museum with waxed figures of all the famous inmates it had ever had.
Famous?
Cayetano Gordino included.
The serial killers are famous.
Thanks for tuning in to Twisted.
I'm not gonna lie, there's probably a bunch of serial killers back then, bro. The fuck? Yeah, I appreciate everybody who tune in on